Hi guys, how's it? Thank you once again for tuning into another video, subscribing, comments, likes, all of it. I love all of it. I am about to do a video, something I had mentioned in my last video, and a discussion and a little bit of opinion on my part as I drive into the office on this overcast and rainy Tuesday here in Denton, Texas. Man, it's feeling like Ireland or Seattle, Washington or something here, or Dunedin or Queenstown in the winter, except no snow. There's no mountains. It's beautiful. If anybody's ever been to Queenstown, New Zealand in the winter, it's absolutely like breathtaking, beautiful. But we'll talk about that another time. The URC, 3 weeks in, we saw a couple of South African teams finally get out of the losing column for the first time this last weekend, and we have noticed, everybody's kind of noticing, especially South African fans, how bad this officiating is. I'm going to leave a couple links below the video here to an analytics guy that does a lot of play-by-play. I'm not super tech savvy. I would make videos like this if I had like the know-how, the knack of knowing how to make them, but unfortunately I do not. I know it's sad, but I think we all deal with that old guy syndrome a bit at some point in our lives. So this is, like I said, some of the worst officiating I have ever seen. I mean, it makes that British and Irish Lions stuff look like, you know, ace officiating compared to this. I've gotten a lot of links, not just from Grant. Yeah, you send me them all the time. But everybody's been sending me a lot of links. Hey, did you see this? Hey, watch this. This was a blown call. Oh, this was supposed to be a try. Oh, this should have been disallowed. This guy was offside. This guy was this. This guy was this. This guy was this. And man, like, it really makes me not want to pay that 150 plus USD to watch. But alas, I probably will, just because I want to follow my SAFA teams, especially my Bulls proper. But is this really the option going forward? Is this all we can do? Is this all we have? Obviously, having just a domestic competition, we have that with the Currie Cup. And then doing 4 teams. It's not enough depth. It's not enough competition. I'm one of those people that I truly enjoyed Super Rugby with, the South African teams, minus the Cheetahs and the Knights, or the Kings, excuse me. They were just never, like, Cheetahs were okay, Kings were bad. And I loved having the Jaguares in the competition. It was really good, especially as they got better towards the end there of that. And then COVID happened and ended all of it. And in hindsight, you step back and you realize that really it was pretty much just New Zealand calling the shots. They were winning the championships, and they pretty much, seemed like they controlled a pretty good chunk of the competition and which way it went. They brought in the Sunwolves. I thought that was an okay idea, but probably not the best idea. So obviously it got too big, and it's kind of the whole thing, is it too big to fail? Obviously it was not too big to fail. As soon as COVID hit, it kind of ended. You already had the Sunwolves leading the competition there. And finally, right about the time they started actually putting together a pretty competitive squad, but I think finances and then their top league in Japan was what they were into, not the Super Rugby competition. Obviously, we've seen the return. You've got the 5 Aussie teams, your 5 Kiwi teams, and then this year we're going to have the Moana Pacifica and the Fijian Drua joining the comp. Do I wish we still got to play as South African teams, those teams in competition? Yes, very, very much so. It was a great time to see a lot of really good talent. Guys that were going to be future members of the Springboks, Wallabies, All Blacks. I'd say Pumas, but the Jaguares pretty much were the Pumas. And it gave you a good chance to kind of see a lot of those guys. If it wasn't for that, I probably would have, never gotten to see, the likes of Rico Iwani kind of coming out of nowhere, or, these kind of guys. And it really makes you think, is the URC really the best option going forward, or is it our only option going forward? And, I get it. The vibe of kind of like, man, screw Sanzaar because of what they did to us pretty much. And you know how we were kind of left out in the cold when COVID happened, and I didn't feel like the officiating and the competition was nearly as bad when we were in Super Rugby. I just felt like it was a little bit, well, yeah, you did see some bad officiating occasionally, and but I kind of just felt like it was a little bit more competitive, I guess. Like you didn't see everybody just seemed to have a lot more into it. And then those derbies would come, and it was absolutely like epic when the derbies would come. And you do kind of miss that vibe of it, or like, for me at that time, I was a big, Western Province Stormers guy. When the Crusaders would come, or when the Wartals would come, it was just like, man, it was just epic, because you just had so much talent on both sides of the ball, and it was like almost like getting international test rugby vibe. And I don't get that from the URC. I just don't get that vibe from it, man. And it's sad. Maybe the vibe will come eventually, but from what I'm saying right now, I'm definitely not getting that vibe whatsoever, and it does suck, man, because I was hoping, when they announced that they were going to do the Rainbow Pro 14 or whatever it was last year, and then at the last minute we find out, okay, yeah, South African teams can't travel except for the championship. What a disappointment that was for my Bulls. But it's just, I don't feel like it's there, and maybe it's just going to take some time. Maybe it's going to take some getting used to, but I still... It kind of goes back to my original video that I blew up from, the one that got 20,000 plus views. I just feel like the vibe between the Northern Hemisphere and the Southern Hemisphere is so different, man. Like, the way they look at their game there is completely different than the way, like, we would look at the game in the Southern Hemisphere. It's kind of like, here in America, it would be the difference between NFL football and college football. I prefer college football because I feel like those guys are a lot more hungrier for to get to the NFL, to get those contracts. And even if they're not trying to play to get to the NFL, it's to have that pride for their school. And I felt like we had that a lot more with Super Rugby. It was a lot more like pride. It wasn't just dudes making huge contracts. It was like, man, like, this is the pride. You're playing for your country and your region in that country and your city that you live in that country. I just felt like it was a lot more about pride than it was, yeah, it was cool to win. Obviously, it was cool to win, but it just doesn't really feel the same. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe once I get the subscription going, maybe I'll get that vibe again, but I just don't get it from the URC right now. I don't get that excitement that Super Rugby brought every weekend. You'd get the fixtures, you'd see what time everybody's playing, you try to plan accordingly to watch what games you wanted to watch, because it wasn't just, me wanting to watch the Stormers or the Lions. It would be trying to watch the Chiefs, or me trying to watch the Highlanders, or me trying to watch the Blues. Usually not the Blues, because, God, they were really bad there for a while. But you know what I mean, like the Highlanders, the Chiefs. I hate Christchurch Crusaders. I hate the Canterbury Crusaders. I don't hate them. I have a jersey in my closet from, like, way back, and it was just, it's kind of like you watch them just to see if anybody would beat the brakes off of them. It usually didn't happen. I even remember when the Hurricanes, you had when they won the championship that one year, and they had, like, Bowden Barrett and all those, Julian Sauvé, Arnie Sauvé, Dan Coles, all those big names there, man. It was dope. But I just don't get that vibe. And is the URC the future? I don't know. It remains to be seen. Obviously, we're only into our first season of it, and maybe things will change. I did see a report that looks like fans are going to start being able to come back to games in South Africa. I'm very, very happy for all my brothers and sisters there. Any of you guys go, need to email me some pictures so I can see the pitch, see the beer you're drinking, whatever you're snacking on at the game. I'm excited as for you guys if that is the truth and you are getting to go back to games. Congrats, man. I know it's been a long time coming. Obviously, we've been able to do it here in the States for quite a bit now, much to the chagrin of some people, but oh wow. motorcycles. Motorbike. Sorry, guys. I live in the States. But, yeah, so you guys let me know what you think. Do you think that the URC is gonna get that vibe again that we all got from Super Rugby? Or maybe you really hated Super Rugby. Not counting how you felt about New Zealand Sanzaar kind of screwing everyone, but like, did you not like it? Did you think it just wasn't a fair competition? Whatnot? Let me know. I'm sure everybody will, reply with some kind of comment regarding this, and I enjoy reading those. You can always email me. I leave my email. You can follow me on Instagram. I know that's kind of a younger folks thing because I'm still fumbling around with it. It's very awkward for me to use at times. But yeah, just let me know what you guys think, and I will talk to all of you again very, very soon. Cheers, guys.